Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Welcome once again to the Witching Hour podcast. I'm your host, as always, John Royceman. With me today, returning after many, many years of chasing and following after him, my dear good friend, Mr. BJ McDonnell. BJ, welcome to the show again, my friend.
Thank you for having me. How's it going, everybody?
Last time we spoke, oh my God, last time we spoke, we had to have been honestly on an actual show was probably 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, a friend of mine had done an audio recording with you, he and I,
Mhm.
for our previous show that we were both running together. So obviously we've got a lot to catch up on.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, we were talking about Hatchet 3, as
Mhm.
well as the Mighty Slayer trilogy,
Oh, yeah.
which no one has been able to touch with any musical group, as far as I'm concerned. Um, you, my friend, I've looked you up so many times, even just recently, last night, before trying to mentally gear up to talk to you. Have you looked yourself up online, IMDb, or even just Google, and actually scrolled through? You've got more entries than a fucking dictionary.
Well, yeah. Let's put it this way: it's not only the love of making movies and being a part of all the projects that we do, but it's also I'm just a money whore. So there you
Somebody
go.
finally admits to that. I love it. It's not the art, it's the green paper.
Oh
I
no, it's the
love
art.
that.
It's the art, but it's the fuck you pay me situation also. So there you go.
Hey, so before I forget, I saw you were on credit for, was it that burger movie that was that Burger
Good
Movie
Burger too.
2?
Yes.
A good friend of mine was actually had a very, very small part in the scene where he does a demonstration where he sets his house on fire.
Yes.
He was one of the firemen
Oh, okay, gotcha.
out in the street. So I didn't
Yeah.
know if you were on set that day, if you
Oh
were
yeah.
filming.
No, I,
Okay.
I mean, I was the A camera operator, steady cam on that. So I shot everything in that movie. So
Oh, okay.
I was there
Okay.
the whole everything you see. I had my finger on the pulse
The
of the
entire
Good
time.
Burger franchise.
Well, Lion Beckwith what is his name, a dear friend of mine and very talented actor. But I saw that and I wanted to find out if you had met him or might have ran into him throughout the set. But regardless of that, man, you are just everywhere. I mean, movies, I don't even realize that you are promoting by yourself. I'm thinking, all right, you're kind of in a lull at the moment. Next thing I know, I look you up and no, you just don't have time to promote yourself. And of course, you just finished and with the major release of Fall Guy,
Mhm.
which looked like a lot of fun. And I heard and I saw the video that you got a lot of great props coming from. Oh
Ryan
boy,
and Emily.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah, that's that. To be honest, that's one of the cool. I didn't even know that happened. All of my friends started sending me that interview, and I was like, what's really kind of great is that it kind of goes to a test of what the Fall Guy really is that the people behind the cameras don't always get the recognition. It's
Sure.
always about the movie. It's always about the actors, and
Right.
and this one really did help promote like what we as the people behind the camera kind of go through like on the daily. I'm a director, but I'm also a camera operator, so I kind of have all that world going on there. And the fact that the actors send out a recognition of the hard work that not only I do, but the stunts, the directors, the grips, the electrics, and people like that, it's kind of like, it felt good to actually get that recognition, and look, I wasn't the only hardest working one on there. I did get my butt kicked on the beaches there while we were doing that stuff. And like this, there was a lot of hard shots and things, but, it was nice to finally like to see that, to have the actors say, hey, we do all this stuff and we're getting it, but this person got murdered
Right.
with this whole thing. So yeah, it was great.
So starting off in your career, what made you not want to be in the big chair with the name on with your name on the back of the chair as a director or even in front of the camera as a star and being an actor? What made you want to jump in the line of cinematography?
Well, I mean, to be honest, like, so I think I may have explained this before. My grandfather was an old actor. That's what got me into wanting to do this. His name was Leif Erikson. And I used to, when I was a kid, I'd go to film sets with them. And that's what kind of created the whole, like, this is amazing. This is the coolest thing, like to have a job that you can do this and be creative and you're not going to a cubicle or like every single day working with the same people for 30 something years. it's always a different thing. So it really inspired me when my grandfather took me to film sets. Now, then I started making short films with my friends back in Pensacola, Florida. We would make action movies and they were terribly stupid, like 2 VCR recording where you'd have to do that old school shit that no one nowadays even knows how to do because everybody's got editing programs. But we had to suffer to try to make things look cool and it would always look terrible. But anyways, so that's kind of what I did growing up. And then I was in a punk band, thought I was going to be in a rock and roll band for a while. And then when that kind of was like over, I was like, you know what, I do want to pursue this directing thing. I moved to LA, went to LA Film School, not LA Film School, LACC. And, I did a bunch of short films and then I started working on sets. I needed to get a way in. So I became a grip because my buddy was a grip. And then I fell in my path of wanting to just fully be a director changed when I saw actually being a cameraman and making the shots happen and being in control of what you actually see on screen. And I kind of my path of directing kind of turned into that direction. And I went more that way because I fell in love with it. And then when I got to a comfortable point of my career, that's when I started trying to dabble back in the directing thing again. And now I'm in a place where I really kind of enjoy doing both because I'm over 2 decades into being a camera operator, I have almost my retirement hours, and I'm stoked to not only be on a set, like I'm here in Atlanta right now working on a movie. So while I'm here, I'm physically making money, working on a really cool project. On my weekends, I'm writing and getting my ideas for the next directing thing. So I'm getting paid while I'm ready to get the next directing thing, where some directors just, their money goes and goes and goes and they're trying to get the next thing. But I continue to keep the wheel turning of finances and also health insurance. The thing with it's not all glory and easy going in this business. You have to make sure you take care of yourself and your loved ones. And without working, we get health insurance through our jobs and how many hours you work. So for me and with my wife, I got to make sure we got our health insurance. I got to make sure things are going. So to me, it's a great trade-off because I get to work and I get to develop. And whenever I get to direct, I go into that chair. When I'm done directing or just the finishing products, I'll take a job as a camera operator. And it's like riding a bike, so right. It's kind of the best of both worlds. And I'm very happy with the way it is,
Well, congratulations on that. And that makes me actually, when you get behind the director's chair, you've obviously got a cinematographer that you have paid to film for you. Mm-hmm. Now, with your years of cinematography, have you ever, how can I put it? Not an air about you, but you know what to look for. You have trained eyes. You've got a mind that knows how to get certain shots that you have in your head before it even happens as a cinematographer. So as a director, is it hard for you to trust someone else, another cinematographer, to get what you as the now director, but still cinematographer in the back of your mind? Is it hard for you to trust someone to get that shot that you could get or want as a cinematographer?
It comes down to this. Like when I started directing earlier, I tried to do the whole thing where I was like, okay, let me trust if these people want me to hire their people, I'm going to trust that. Mm-hmm. And it turned out miserable. You know what I mean? Honestly, it really made me go trust your gut and hire the people and surround yourself with the people are going to do the job. And every time I've had an issue where something's not going right, it's because I didn't trust my gut. And if I thought someone wasn't good for it, but they were part of oh, this is part of our old school crew, let's hire this person. And you're like, I don't know, man. And it's usually right. Sometimes you're surprised. Mm-hmm. But I guess to answer your question fully, I put my trust in people that I surround myself knowing that they're going to do the job. And at this point in my career, I know so many people in this business that I'm like, okay, cool, man. Let's hire this guy to do this thing. And I don't have to worry about it. The last thing you want to do is worry about things on set that could go wrong. I don't want to worry so much about the props that are being there. I want to trust the person that's in charge of that, and I want their input. Same thing with lighting and cinematography. I want the cinematographer to be someone that I can actually joke around with and actually understand what I'm going for. And it's all about pre-planning and making sure that you guys have a plan, not just jumping into it and going, well, here's my vision. They're like, nah, I can't do that.
Right.
With anything I do is all worked out, pre-planned. My books, when I'm done directing, are this thick because I've storyboards and shot lists and on my weekends before we go into the next week of something I'm directing, I board it out so that my crew knows what we're doing, so everyone can go, oh, okay, that's what we have to do.
Gotcha.
I'm a big planner when it comes down to these things. And it's
Right.
just, I think that's just, you don't have time to like try to figure it out on set. You need to have a plan. And so
Right.
I trust who I hire now, and I really like, I don't accept it anymore when someone says, oh, this person's my friend, they're great. I've ran into that situation too many times where I've been like, cool, I wish I wouldn't have trusted what you said,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
Right. No, I get that. How is it working with musicians as far as what they do on stage? That's their craft.
Yeah.
Trying to make them into actors, as you have now done two, three times that I personally can think of off the top of my head. Slayer, not once, but the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
Obviously Foo Fighters. Which I mean, that's not just a 3 to 5 minute video. That was a full feature,
Whole movie. Yeah.
full movie. So how I mean, did any of the do any of at any time any of them ever stop and say, "Dude, I'm not an actor.
Yeah. Oh,
Give me
yeah.
a
Oh,
guitar
yeah.
and I'll sit here all day with it." But
Yeah.
I can't do this. Or how hard is that to mold into a shot where you're like, okay, it's good enough.
The thing is, what the way I approach it is that, like, look, the Foo Fighters movie, Dave is a natural actor. He's
Yeah.
fantastic, and I love working with him. And those guys, to be honest, it depends on ego and all that stuff. And with the Foo Fighters, they don't really have any ego. They're just there to have a good time. And so
Right.
they're not actors, and we knew that. And if we were trying to go make like, some like Lawrence of Arabia, then yeah, it would have been ridiculous, trying to make sure that everyone was on point and having these emotional like arcs.
I
But
actually would have liked to have seen Dave's part, in doing something like that. That would have been great.
oh yeah, but my whole thing was like the way I approached it. I said, hey guys, look, we're making a movie about you guys.
Hmm.
So what we're going to do is, yeah, we have the script, it's fine. But you know what? We'll stay on topic and the subject to make sure this movie takes place. But let me hear what you guys would actually really say to each other. And I would let them riff and play themselves. And in the first week, they were a bit nervous. But I think that once they realized that they could just like that I was comfortable and we were all having a good time. And I'm like, okay, say these lines because this is what it is. Now say what you would say to each other and actually like do that. And I would let them kind of play with it. And it actually made it a more comfortable situation for them. And then everybody started having fun. And then
Nice.
honestly, that's kind of it's better to do it that way because you're going to get better stuff.
Yeah.
Not scripts aren't the Bible and the God of it all. It's like, yeah, you have to have your story and everything, but like when it comes to performance, it's like you let the actors or the Foo Fighters or the whoever the musicians let them be real in that. And with that movie, we can get away with it. You can't always do that, but this movie, this was the way to go about it and let them be them. Because literally, the movie that we made was one giant Everlong. It was a Foo
Right.
Fighters music video that was a story that was long, and we were trying to instill that feeling to make sure that it appeased to the people who love those old school Foo Fighters things. And I was, we wanted to make sure that it was ridiculous. It was our school of rock. It was rock and roll high school for us.
Hmm.
It was like we were just making another band movie that we just want to be proud of, and the people that get it get it. The people that think they're going in to see like a seriously dark, scary movie, sorry, it's more fun than it is than that, and it's just gory and funny and
And I'll tell you, I had so
accomplished.
much fun with that. I have not been able to, I don't think personally, to thank you because I know you sent me an early screener of the film. And I absolutely loved it. And I tell you what, walking into it, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah,
Now, the opening scene, it's been long enough. If you haven't seen the movie, where the fuck have you been? So I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody. But the opening scene when people getting killed,
yeah,
I said, holy shit, we got a movie.
yeah,
We got a real movie. And then when the guys come on, it meshed so well. And you felt like you were kind of kicking it with the band and kind of
Mhm.
hanging out. And they were just fun, great guys.
Yeah,
And to have Kerry King, to have Lionel Richie, to have John Carpenter, for Christ's sake, in your movie,
yeah,
dude, that's
yeah. I know.
amazing.
No, we got lucky with that. I mean, like we got lucky with Jenna Ortega. That was the way that the movie was. Is I go, this movie's going to get so ridiculous, but let's open the movie as a very gnarly, very serious horror film. And
Yes.
because I want to shock the crowd into kind of knowing what they're going into, because I knew that the next scene coming up is the intro to the Foo Fighters having a problem, trying to get, and it's silly.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that we knew that we had these moments of complete darkness, but then it's mostly, overshadowed by all the lightness and the comedy that we have.
Right.
And I remember me and my wife were trying to find the right actress to do that thing. I was like, I just need somebody that can really bring out the emotions and really be like, you can feel it. And we went through all these different audition tapes, and then Jenna popped up, and it was a clip from you. And I remember watching it, and I remember me and my wife just both were like, we need her.
Hmm.
And so we reached out, and she jumped on board, and she is the coolest, like, you know, her ego could go as far as the freaking solar system right now because she's on top of the world.
Yes, she
But
is.
she's very much a very cool, easy to work with, very professional, great actress, and I worked on the American portion of Beetlejuice, and it was funny because when I was in Vermont, she didn't know I was there just because I was camera operating on it.
Right.
And she came riding in on this bicycle, and I was standing in the street, and she like did this double take, and then she like turned the bike around. She goes, "No way!" And then she like jumped off the bike and gave me a big hug. It was
Uh,
beautiful. So
that's
yeah,
got to be nice. To, a great feeling for for again for that recognition
yeah,
and so forth, and people to for an actress not to think of,
yeah,
even though you were the director and now you're cameraing, to not think anything, just to know you and
yeah,
appreciate you for who you are.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now.
Right now, I can't go into super detail with it, but I am here doing the Naked Gun.
Okay.
I'll tell you that, but
Okay.
I can't tell you any details. But that's where I'm doing. That's where I'm at. I'm doing that.
Wow. Okay. Anything you can lead us into? No, I know you're still writing.
Oh, you mean like anything I'm doing?
Anything that you personally that we can look forward to as your next projects?
There are two things that are in the works, and as the superstition of it all goes, I don't want to talk too much about it.
Of course.
But I will tell you, one is a comic book I'm attached to,
Nice.
and the other one is an original idea that I came up with. That I have these two fantastic writers that are on board, and when I get home from this job, we do plan on pitching this to the studios, and it is very much a movie that I've been wanting to do this one for a long time, and it's something I've been really thinking about for probably the last 3 years. And I've just I teamed up with the writers, and like for me, I can come up with great ideas and cool stories, but I'll be honest, when it comes to dialogue writing, I suck. So like I really need to have like really great writers, and so I'm teaming up with two of them, and I'm looking forward to that. But as they say, anything goes. Like I've worked on so many things that we were like right there to go, and then just some little thing will happen, or you'll have an actor attached, and you are greenlit, and they bail, and all of a sudden funding goes away. My whole thing is like I'm never excited or super pumped about it until I'm there on set day one.
Right.
Boots on the ground.
So speaking of that, have you ever had that one day when you've walked onto the set, day one, if you want, looked around and been like, holy shit, this is it. I've made it. This is the biggest thing I've ever been a part of. This is beyond any expectation I ever could have had. This is huge. How the hell did I get here?
I think I've had a lot of those moments because a lot of the things that I really like is the fact that I've got to be a part of sequels or remakes, and growing up loving some of the movies that I loved, when you get to be a part of that, like there was that moment, like I remember on Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, just some of the stuff that we shot was some of the stuff that I loved as a kid growing up. Like, because I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, hence why we got John Carpenter for the Foo Fighters movie.
Right.
That was the main goal. Me and Dave Grohl both were like, we loved Carpenter, so we reached out to get him on that because we were like, we wanted him to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to recreate some of those moments is pretty amazing. Like, and there's been many a times where it's been like that. Even like I did all the reshoot stuff for Top Gun 2, and just being a part of that was pretty amazing. And going out and some of the jet work that we did was like insane.
Yeah.
The Beetlejuice that's coming out, like I didn't do the whole movie, but I did the American portion of it because most of it was shot in Europe. And just being a part of that and being able to like work side by side with Tim Burton was like, the kid in me was like, I can't believe this, and you're always nervous about like, I hope this isn't a never meet your heroes moment.
Right.
And with Tim, it was like, thank God, he was so rad. And at the end of the shoot, he walked up to me and he like this, and I gave him a hug, and I was like, oh, this is like, these are the things that I cherish the most, is like these kind of moments, because Tim is he was a huge influence on like my upbringing and the things that I love, and the look of the films that he does, and his art. And I love his art, and I just everything about him is so cool. So that was that was my recent most amazing like experience right there. Just being like, man, this was so cool to be a part of it, even though it wasn't the whole thing. It was just the American portion.
Sure. We have just a couple minutes left here, unfortunately. But I wanted to date back a couple years, if I may. You know me well enough probably to remember that I'm going to mention Slayer again. And it
Mm-hmm.
makes me, you wrote that,
Yeah.
directed that, that was your baby.
Yeah.
What made you wake up one morning and think, I want to make a mini, let's just call it a mini series, if I may, um, of Slayer.
It never
Not,
was supposed to be.
I'm sorry.
It never was supposed to be that. It
Okay.
it was I got a call, and I made the record label wanted to have a horror director come in and actually make something for the band, like a video. And I don't know how much time we have, so I'm going to try to make it quick.
That you're good.
I uh I I made two different pitches. One was a very expensive cannibal biker pitch that would have cost a fortune. It was actually really cool. It's like bikers and cannibals and like out in the desert. It was bonkers, but
Right.
it would have cost a lot of money. And the other one was the prison one for Repentless. And then Repentless was like, okay, we can do that one with what we have, with the money and the resources, because music videos don't have money anymore, hardly ever, unless you're Taylor Swift or somebody like that.
Yeah.
It's not, not Slayer, but we had an okay budget, but it was like, for what you see with what we did, that's
Mhm.
called major favors involved. Like, I tried to pull in and make sure that we could get done. I'm talking like my wife she helped out a lot. Tony Gardner came out, did all the effects. All my friends, the actors, a lot of them came out just to be a
I
part
was
of
going to say
it.
that the list of actors that you
Yeah.
had, the names in that was phenomenal.
And it was never supposed to be that. It was just like, hey man, who can we call? Let's get him in here. Let's call Derek Mears. Hey, you available? Come on down.
Right.
So long story short, we made this Repentless video, and it came out the day that Repentless album came out. And the record label was so excited about that video, and people went so bonkers for that music video, that Gerardo at Nuclear Blast called and he said, look, man, like, that was a huge deal. I want you to try to make a storyline out of this. So here's the two songs we want to do. Can you make a storyline? And so then I had to go back and really understand what the concept was that I shot. And I had to dive deeper into what happened to our character, Jason Tross, and his, what he went through. And so that's, with seeing Derek Mears in there, then it just kind of was like, okay, we're going to make a John Wick kind of like prequel story, but then we're going to go super dark with the last story, and like telling a story basically through the looks and the emotions that you see on their face, because we're not doing dialogue. It's what's happening here and the
Right.
action that's being involved. So and then it's all orchestrated and driven by the soundtrack of Slayer. So that's how I did it, and I just had to come up with the whole storyline, and then that's what we got with the three videos all involved, and then we were making like sort of a trailer for like Slayer's next album. And so what this Repentless trilogy thing was, where it was just these quick shots of Jason basically killing everybody looking for this guy named Luther, was never supposed to be a movie ever. Like, we shot this because we thought we were going to be gearing up for another music video stint with Slayer. And then Slayer, all of a sudden, like afterward, I remember we were sitting there editing, and I remember all of a sudden seeing this news that Slayer calls it quits. And I was just like, oh my God, we had shot so much stuff. And then the record label goes, well, we're going to make this like a thing with a live album and all that stuff. And had I known and had the crystal ball of Slayer breaking up, I would have taken time to actually make just a short film and
Sure.
it right there. So it's kind of funny because all the stuff you see is like this piecemeal of like this thing that was going to happen.
Right.
And it is what it is. I'm happy. We had fun with it. And I love what we did with the three videos, with the three Slayer videos. I'm very proud of those. And
as you should be.
Sweat and tears to get those done.
So with their breakup, I'm just going to end it right here. Obviously, of Kerry King's new band, and he's out, doing that all over the world now. Rumors of the band getting back together for like a couple big festival shows.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Yay. I mean, not so much a yes, I'm for or against, but do you think there's any truth behind that? Because apparently from the last show to today, Tom and Kerry have not spoken, texted, nada, anything. They got on the tour buses and
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I kind of haven't really been keeping up with it all. Carrie's got his thing going on, and he's more involved with that. I haven't talked to Tom since we got done filming because he just kind of like, he's just gone
Right.
and Texas, and I just like, okay, Slayer's over. I still talk to Gary Holt a lot, and
Mhm.
he's doing the Exodus thing. And I love Gary, and I mean, I love all those guys, and Paul Bostaff is great.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I think the two shows are going to happen. Whatever it is, I believe they are happening, and
Uh, I
but
would
I
love,
think I think Carrie's more like into his new band and doing that
sure.
stuff. But look, Slayer's Slayer. I mean, that's a force to be reckoned with. And when it comes down to it, if they play again, everyone will go see it.
Everyone will go. Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, good on them. I wish I could do that. Just
Oh my
something up
God,
a little
man.
bit and say,
Yeah.
let's make some money. you know.
Listen, I don't want to cut this short, but unfortunately, the powers that be, with the gods being Zoom, they are telling us to fuck off because they want the rest of their Sunday afternoon.
Oh yeah.
So
You
unfortunately,
got
my
eight
friend,
minutes left. You got 8 minutes if you have anything else.
do we? Oh
yeah.
shit, there it is. Okay, no, no, no. I'm sorry. On my end, I had a pop up that said 3 minutes 2 minutes ago.
Mine says
Um,
8 minutes, yeah.
yeah. Okay. No, so we're good. We got plenty of time. So anything else that you would like to, honestly, to mention, give props to, anything else that you got working out?
Yeah, I just, I'm look, we're all a bit nervous over here in the filmmaking world with all this AI talk that's going on, and it's a bit scary with
Right.
everybody's jobs and the things that are happening like that. I just hope that, we keep it so the human element still is making the movies and it doesn't become just an AI generated thing. That's like the biggest thing. I hope people keep going to movie theaters to see movies. There's been a very big decline in numbers of like of box office, and everybody's like, you go to your TV, and look, we're all guilty of it. It's easy to watch something on your TV at home. Like I can
Sure.
just, and it's comfortable.
Right.
But at the same time, like for the people like all of us that are working, it's really important that everybody does go to the theaters and sees the movies that are in the theaters because it kind of keeps our jobs alive. And but the way things are going now, AI is a bit scary. That it's only going to get better, and it's a big concern out here. So my whole thing is, I hope everybody just
You
keeps
know,
rooting
that
for
I'm glad you brought that up because I have seen so many coming soon movie trailers on YouTube. I never heard a word about it. And at
yeah,
first, 90% of this trailer I'm watching, I was like, oh my God, this is really happening.
yeah,
And then next thing you know, you get that one image of one character, a celebrity actor, that you look at it and it's like, that's not real.
yeah,
You start to get a little bit, you can now pick up that it's all AI.
yeah.
And so I sent a couple of these trailers, in particularly to my son, who was very interested in, I can't remember what film it was, or it was a Quentin Tarantino. I think it
Hmm.
was Tarantino.
Right.
Um, and I don't remember who the actor was, but you could just look at it and it just all of a sudden had a turn and it looked like it was a cartoon.
Yeah, yeah.
You lost that little bit of. So I mean, how is all that? How is that working? What and they
It's
pay an actor to say, yeah, wait, yeah, you can use me in their movie as a AI, but we don't have to actually make a movie.
No, I mean the thing is, like, SAG's putting a lot of stuff in place that if their likeness is used or the voices are used, that they're actually compensated for that. The problem is a lot of actors have been scanned already, so they can live on forever. That's the thing. It's like all these actors, young Indiana Jones, can be making movies long before, like, while we're dead. Because they've got everybody. That's the thing, and it's a bit concerning. Um, I don't know. The other thing that I think is tough is that I always complain about how movies aren't movies anymore. It's content. I hate the word content because now it kind of disenfranchises everything and makes it weird. Movies are movies. We go see movies, right? And all these networks now are like, we just got to make more content, more content. And so that's what it becomes. And then you lose track of what's coming out. And there's a lot of great stuff that filmmakers and new filmmakers, they make something and all of a sudden it goes to some streaming service. They don't promote it and no one sees it, and then it disappears forever. It's like, that's the hard thing about what's going on with that too. It's like it's content versus movies.
Right.
And so the business is changing a lot, and I fear the people that are just coming up and wanting to get into making movies in the film business is that getting into this now is a bit of a scary dive. Even my stepdaughter and her boyfriend, they want to get into this, and I'm like, it's a bit risky because we don't know what the future is going to hold. I don't disencourage it. It's an awesome thing, but also the way it used to be is not how it is anymore. And we're all feeling the effects of it now.
Right.
And and as crew people, we're all a bit concerned and scared, you know, because like I've been doing this for over 25 years.
Right.
And I don't know anything else.
And
So
you're still a young man, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, well, if you go to, you might see me doing Starbucks or Uber Eats pretty soon because the film industry's gone. So I might be just dropping those. I might be dropping your food off pretty soon if it goes.
There's no shame in that game, brother. Trust me. No,
no shame
none
in
at
the
all.
game at all. Hey, man, you got to make money's money. You got to make money. So, you know, that's about it.
You know, you couldn't have said that at a more appropriate time, or worse timing for me, I should say. Because I wanted to ask you a question. A dear friend of mine that lives locally, Matt, this is for you. He is aspiring to be a cinematographer.
Yeah.
I told him I was going to be talking to you, and he went ape shit. And he's like, dude, find out what I got to do. You know,
Yeah.
where we live is kind of rural, but yet we're also only an hour from Baltimore, an hour from DC, Philly, and so forth. What would you
Yep.
recommend? How can he get his name out there and get involved more?
I mean, the sooner the better that you can get out and start doing stuff. Just do it. You know, that's all it takes. Like the longer you wait around, the longer it's going to take. You have to you got to get in the trenches and start working at it and start doing it. And if somebody's saying, I want to shoot this, go shoot it for free and build your reel. Make sure you start building your reel. And then when you have a nice reel you can show off, then you can start making good money at it. And then you progress into that world. Get a job on a film set and figure out like the politics of how film sets run. I mean, that's really how I feel like, you know, if you want to get into it, get into it. Don't wait around. You have to get into it. Yeah. Right. I mean, I did it when I was 20. I got into it when I was 24, you know, and here I am.
Talking to a guy like me on a Sunday afternoon, talking about filling out an Uber applications.
Hey man, I mean, whatever works. Who cares? Like, I was almost doing that during the strikes. I mean, I don't care. Money's money. You got to do it.
Yeah. No. Hey, I'm with you there. Hey, you also did Steve Vai, correct?
Yeah, Teeth of the Hydra video. I did.
Wow, man. I remember seeing parts of that video, and I mean, he's always been an amazing, phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
But that thing was just ridiculous. Oh my God.
Yeah. I usually try to make a story to like the videos to like tell a story. I don't like doing the here's the band performing in this one thing, but this video is an exception because there is no story to be told. The story being told is Steve Vai playing this song by himself on this crazy guitar.
Right.
And that's all it was. It's like you don't need to do it. And it was perfect. And we really had a good time shooting that thing. And Steve is lovely. I love him.
Any musician out there that you would love to be able to get a hold of and do something, a project with?
There's a lot of metalcore bands that I've really been into. Johnny Booth is one of them I've really been into lately, and I really want to do something with them. They're playing here in Atlanta this Friday, but I'm sadly not going to be able to see it. I mean, look, I'm up for any musicians, really. I'll work with anything, you know, like, or anybody that wants to do something creative and fun. Like, I'll go for it. So if there's any bands that see this out there, hit me up.
Well, with that being said, I will definitely be whoring your ass out. And, you know, once I do get this all put together, man, it has been great talking to you again. It really is. I'm so happy, for all of your newfound, success and how busy you have been. I know the last couple times we've talked, either I have been ill or you are just, sorry, I'm catching a flight, or I'm in the desert, or I'm filming, or whatever. And dude, I'm not going to argue with that. That's your job, and I'm happy to be able to hear that you are constantly working that well.
Hey man, got to keep doing it. So I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, of course, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me, John Roycelyn, host of Another Witching Hour production. With me tonight, very special guest, Mr. BJ McDonnell. Look him up. He's quite a phenomenal person, writer, director, cinematographer, with some of the cinematography that will blow your ass away when you were watching it in the theaters. Go to the damn movies. Keep that shit alive, please. Stop streaming every fucking thing and go spend $20 for you, $20 for your missus. Go sit in the air-conditioned reclining seats. Go keep the movies alive while they're still there.
Yep.
BJ, thank you very much, my friend. Best of luck, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much.